Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel SummarizedAI. As part of our earlier video, we talked about what is prompt engineering and fine-tuning in detail. In this video, I will demonstrate an actual fine-tuning implementation for one of the ChatGPT model from OpenAI. We will programmatically fine-tune one of the ChatGPT model as part of this tutorial. Before we start implementation, let's get a high-level overview on what is fine-tuning. Fine-tuning in general terms means making small, careful adjustments to improve how something works. Pre-trained models like ChatGPT, Cloud, Gemini, and Llama by default is a general purpose large language model. It knows a lot about many topics, but not about your specific company or document. However, when you train or fine tune it on your company's internal documents, such as manual, policies, FAQs, and reports, it becomes specialized in your organization's knowledge. And if we talk about fine tuning, it is all about training existing pre-trained LLM models on your own data so it behaves or responds in a specific when you want, rather than just general answers. When a company trains a language model using its own data, that's called fine tuning. It helps the AI understand company specific info and you can use it to search through documents or summarize pages and policies in seconds. All right, let's break down how fine tuning works step by step. To train a model, we first need data, and this data can come from different sources like PDF, Excel sheets, or any other type of document containing useful information. The next step is to read the document and extract the useful information when we have the data. We divide data into smaller chunks for better processing and then convert, store it into a .json file, jsonl file in the required format for fine tuning. Now we will read JSON-L file and upload our training dataset file itself to OpenAI server. So it can be used to fine tune a model like GPT-4 Turbo or GPT 3.5 Turbo or Cloud or Gemini to create our custom fine tuned model. Once our fine tuned model is ready and fine tuning is complete, we can provide a prompt to the model and obtain customized results. Great. Now that's where we have covered the theory. Let's move to the practical implementation. Let's go back to our Visual Studio. And as earlier we have discussed, we will first take the text file, we will read the data and create a JSON-L document. So let's go back to our Visual Studio and start. So I've already created a data.txt file, which is having a data around New York City, and we will be fine tuning our one of the chat GPT model over this data set. Great. Now let's create a practice.py file where we will be writing our code to fine tune a model. Okay. And before we start, um, you require to install a module using a command pip install OpenAI, and you can run this particular command in your command prompt, and it will allow you to have this particular module in your local. I am already having this particular module in my local. That's why I'm not going to run this particular command. I will be directly jumping into the implementation. Great. Now let's start the implementation. So from OpenAI, import OpenAI. Okay. Now we already have a file. So text input file, we are going to have data.txt. Okay. Now with the help of file input output operation, we are going to read this particular file. Text input file, comma, read as an operation, and then we require encoding, which is nothing but UTF-8, and then we're gonna write as F, okay, and we say text equal to text equal to F dot read dot strip. Okay, so we are going to strip this particular file post reading strip. Okay, now this is there. Now if I output only this particular text, let's see what we get. So text, okay, great. Now if we get the output, we can see we are able to read this particular file. Now we have to break this file into chunks. Okay, so when you fine tune a model or you can't just feed an entire book, for example, PDF or any long document at once, and that's where the chunks comes in picture. So chunking is nothing but to break long document or text into smaller or manageable pieces. Why we require? There are three main reasons for chunking. The first is model token limit. So ChatGPT as a model like ChatGPT 4 or fine-tuning models have a maximum token limit, meaning they can only process a certain amount of text at once, usually a few thousand tokens. Token is nothing but words or characters. Now, second is to have better context understanding where model gets focused context. And the third is efficient training and retrieval allows for batch train small text pieces, fast query matching, and model retrieves only the chunk most related to the query. So let's do that. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna divide off chunk size as 500. Let's do that. Okay. Now once it is defined, what we gonna do is we gonna write chunks equal to text in the bracket I colon I plus chunk size what we have defined above and dot strip for I in range 0 to length of the text. Okay, so this is how we are gonna divide into the chunk. Okay, this is done. Excellent. It will divide into the chunks. Now, when we found tune a model or the content to ChatGPT, the content should be in predefined format. Okay, so what OpenAI says, we require the format in this, your JSONL in this particular format so that we can fine tune your content. So it should be messages, and then inside it, we are going to have role of three types, system, user, and assistant, and every role will have some content. Okay, so this is the JSON what we are trying to create as part of our JSONL file. So let's go back to our code base, and then we will write data equals to this for chunk in chunks. Okay, we will say enter entry. We will try to create the JSON we just saw, and we say messages colon, and then we create an array, and then we here say colon and this, and here we say role as system, comma, content, colon. Okay, so this is we require for three times. One is for system, one is for user, and one is for assistant. So let me update the role to user, and then update the role to assistant. Okay. Now in the content, here we are going to say chunk for sure, no doubt, because this is the one which is our content which our assistant is going to reply. Now, apart from this, we require a user prompt here, which we can say continue the essay to describe the section. So this is where we are going to ask our custom fine-tuned model to provide the content. Correct. Now, after this, in the system, we are going to say you are helpful writing assistant. Okay, this is done. So this is where we have created this particular JSON format. Okay. Now, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna say data equals to not data, sorry, data dot append, and we're gonna pass here is entry. Okay, this is it will create the JSON. Now let's remove this particular print statement of printing text. Now we will print these JSONs. Okay, let's see like what output it gives. So you will see it gives us this multiple JSON objects it is giving us. Okay, and these particular objects. So as we saw earlier, we got the JSONL. Now we have to store the JSONL, one of the .jsonl file. Let's do that. Remove this particular print statement. Now with open, we require output file name. So we can say fine tune dot jsonl. Okay, and we will be writing in this particular file to write as an operation, and then encoding we know UTF-8. Okay, this is done. Now here as F. Now we will say for entry in data. Okay, so then F dot write. Okay, now because we are going to play with JSON, so we have to import the JSON here. So let's import the JSON. Import JSON. Okay. Now JSON got imported. We will say JSON dot dump. So whatever we are going to dump, it will be a JSON format of ours. Okay, dumps. Then inside this particular dumps, we're gonna give the entry, and then again ensure ASCII equal to false. Okay. Now plus slash n backslash n. Okay, this is done. It will it will write into the file of JSONL, and after every object, JSON object, it will take a new line and it will write that particular JSON object in the new line. Great. Now the writing part is done. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna run this particular code. Let's run this, and I will say fine tune text as a file name. Okay. Let's do this. Let's run it. Yeah, it got ran, and you see this particular file got created. See, it has created this particular JSON file, and after every completion of JSON, it went into the new line and wrote it again. Great. Now we have our data set ready. So we are good with this particular step. Now we're gonna read the JSONL file. So read that. So for that, I'm not going to write this particular code again. What I'm gonna do is find to JSON read L RB in binary. Okay, and remove this whole thing. This is not required for sure. Okay, but we can do one more thing. We can directly write the OpenAI code. So file, okay, file equal to. Now we have to write this JSONL file as a data set for the OpenAI. Okay, so to write or connect with the OpenAI, we require a OpenAI key. Okay, so for that, we're gonna write client equal to OpenAI inside it. Sorry, OpenAI will be here, and then we are gonna write API underscore key equals to, then pass your OpenAI key here. So I have my open key ready. So I will be pasting my open key here. Now you can also generate the open API key. I have already uploaded my video. You can go and check that particular video to create the Open API key. So now we have the Open API key and our client object is ready. Now what we gonna do here is we're gonna write client dot files dot create. Okay. Now we will create that, and inside this we're gonna write file equals to open, and we will give this particular file name again from here. Okay, and we're gonna pass read binary RB. Okay, now comma, we have to provide the purpose. Purpose we know it's a fine tune, correct? So purpose is for fine tune. This is done. Okay, now we can write print f in the format. Okay, then loaded file uploaded colon, and then we can say file colon ID. Okay, so this particular file we are going to upload, and as soon as this particular file gets uploaded, it will generate a file.id. Great, excellent. Now, once this file ID got generated, we will fine tune our ChatGPT 4o mini on this particular file. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so this particular file got uploaded on the OpenAI server. Good, great. Now let me show it to you once. So let me clear here, and if I run this particular code, it will upload this particular file to this. So see, it uploaded the file and ChatGPT returned file ID. Okay, great. Now let's fine tune our model. We're gonna say job equals to client dot file dot client dot fine underscore tuning dot job dot create. Okay, let's create that. Now training file equal to, we are already having that file dot id. Excellent, comma. Now we will be using a model. So we're gonna use one model from ChatGPT, which we are going to fine tune. This is the model, pre-trained model we are going to use. Now on top of this model, we will add our data set. Okay, so it will get fine tuned. Now suffix I'm going to provide as auto hyphen model. Okay, I will show you like where this suffix come in picture later. Now we have all the things ready with us. Now we gonna print similar format f fine tune job id equals to job.id. Great. Now it will print our job ID. Excellent. Now fetch the job if using job.id. Okay, so we can get the job.id using the job.id. Yep, correct. Sorry. So job underscore ID equal to nothing but job.id. So it will give us the job ID. Excellent. Now let's write a while loop to whole job until it's complete. So what happens when we trying to fine tune this particular model, okay, using this particular data of jsonl, it may take 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, and to check that like it is done or not, we gonna have while loop, because while loop will be running till until that particular process did not get complete. Okay, so we have while loop, and we will say status equals to client dot fine underscore tuning dot jobs dot retrieve, and here we are already having that particular job ID. We're gonna keep it here. Okay, now we will print status. We will say job status. Okay, and here we are going to print job status. So it will be status dot status. Okay, it will print us the status of the job. Excellent. Now we will say here if status dot status in this. If this is one of the status, succeeded, okay, then we have failed, then we have cancelled, okay. If we have one of the status, okay, it should break, okay, excellent. Now what we're gonna do is we gonna sleep. We will our application will get sleep for every 30 seconds, okay. So for time we have to import the time also here, so that we can ask our application to get sleep for some time. Okay, so we have this. Now this is good. Now once this is done, what we can do here, we can write one more condition. If status dot status does not equal to succeeded, okay, then in this case we will raise an runtime error, okay, runtime error, and saying fine tuning not succeeded, okay. This is what we're gonna write. Now once the fine tuning is successful, it is done, then we're gonna write is fine underscore tune underscore model equals to status dot fine underscore tune model, it will give, okay. And then we can print the model here. So again F, and then we gonna write, let me check one more thing here. Did I wrote it correctly? The status jobs dot create. Oh, why it is giving that error here, was not closed. Oh, so this means we have not closed it correctly. We says dot create, and after create we have this particular bracket, and we closed it. Okay, this is, yep, now it is fine. And then it is also good. So we have to write F here. I was thinking that I've missed something after seeing this statement. Okay, great. Now we have this here. Now we are saying job. Let me check one more thing. So fine tune model. Now what we are going to do here is fine tune model equals to dot this, and I'm going to say fine tune model. Okay, so this is how we're going to write. Now let's, once we got the fine tune model, okay, we can ask query from our model. We can have prompt. So now what we're gonna do is response response, okay, client dot chat dot completions dot create. Now here we have to give model equal to, now this will come in picture. Now it will use this particular model to answer any query. And here we are going to say messages equal to this, enter, and then here we're gonna write role colon user comma content colon tell me something about New York. Okay, it will tell us something about New York. Great. So we have to give the comma here. Excellent. Now once we get the response, we can say print here. Close with this one. Response something like this, and we can upper font the response. Response dot choices 0 dot message dot content. Now this is ready. Okay, now we can execute our code. And as I mentioned earlier, it will take at least 15 to 20 seconds to fine tune this particular model. Let's check that. Let me clear this particular console and start. See, it got started. Okay. It is saying some issue here. File.training underscore file. Line number 39. Oh, file.id. It should be. Excellent. Go now. Yep, it started. File uploaded. We got the file ID. Now validating file. It is validating files. Okay, great. Job status. Let it go. Let it go. So as you remember, we have given like 30-second sleep time here. So it will check again and again after 30 seconds what is the status. Okay, and then it will print that particular status here. So currently it is validating file, which means whatever content we have written here, is it correct in terms of bracket or the key value pairs? It is validating that. Once the validation is done, then it will start fine tune the model on that content. Okay, great. Let's see how it goes. Now again, it's validating file. Our file content is too much here, I would say. Yeah. And the fine tuning will always depend on the content we are using. If we have more content, it will take more time. If we have less content, then it will take less amount of time. Great. Let it validating files. Yep. Hmm. Let's do it. So it is running a job here. So it is running a job here. You see, fine tuning dot jobs and retrieve the job ID. We have given get the job ID. So we started a job here. So this particular job will make sure our content is getting fine tuned. Okay. Now, as you can see, our content got validated. Now our fine tuning is in progress. It is running. Okay. Now I'm pausing my recording because it will take around 15 to 20 minutes to fine tune this particular model. So I will be back. Hey, looks like our process got completed after 15-20 minutes. Now, if you noticed, our job got success in the it got succeeded, and our fine-tuned model. We got our fine-tuned model. Now, if we try to understand this fine-tuned model in a simple term, this fine-tuned model is nothing. We have used this particular model, correct? So this particular model, you can say it has this plus the data from this file. Okay. So this particular fine-tuned model is all about that. Okay. So now we have the fine-tuned model and we can keep this for tuning model for data purpose. Okay. Now, if you see after this thing, we have asked one query, tell me something about New York. Okay. Then it told us everything about New York here. We printed out the response, whatever this particular fine-tuned model told us. Okay. Now what we gonna do is we gonna duplicate this particular file, copy, paste, and underscore one. Okay, let's create this file. Now here, we don't require JSON, we don't require time, we require this. Remove everything till here. Okay. Now we have client ID, we have API key with us. We require a fine-tuned model. So you remember we have saved our fine-tuned model here. Now what we're gonna do here, we're gonna pass our fine-tuned model. Okay. Now using this particular fine-tuned model, we can ask any query, or we can have any prompt to have answers from this particular data set. Okay. So let's run this particular thing again. Let me clear the console. Now run. It will go there and it will fetch the data, and it is getting the data from OpenAPI server. Okay, this is one thing. Now we have asked this particular query, correct? Now we can ask some other queries with this. We can ask what is Silicon Alley here, or we can ask what was New York City called before. City called before. Okay, let me run this again. Let me clear this. Let's rerun. It will give us the answer. It gives before it was named New York City, the settlement was originally called by New Amsterdam. Okay, this, and this. So it has given the complete message to us. Okay, so this particular content we have been getting from this particular AI model. So similar to that, earlier we were using the pre-trained model given by the ChatGPT. So we can remove this one and let use our pre-trained model as is, whatever we are having. Okay. Now this answer, whatever we are going to get from actual pre-trained model. Okay, not from fine-tuned. So it give us this answer. Okay. Now let me revert this again and let me ask this query again. Now we will see answer from fine-tuned. It gives us this. Okay. Now we are able to create our fine-tuned model. Okay. This is very first thing, and finally we have our fine-tuned model. Now let me duplicate, or let me duplicate this particular file. Okay, here again copy and then paste, because I do not want to rewrite the code again and again, some of the code. Then in this particular file, if you see earlier, we have ran the jobs here, correct? So if you go here below, we ran this particular job here, created a job. Okay, so similar to this, I am having multiple jobs running in my local. Okay, so to list down that job, we have the code given by OpenAI. What we can say is client dot fine tuning. Let me remove all these things. Fine tuning dot jobs dot list. Okay, and then we can say job count. Okay, we can identify job count equal to length of, but before, yeah, job count, we can say response dot data. Okay, this is very first thing. And after that, what we can do is we can loop through all the jobs. So I can say job for job